Hello, Beacon Ngeno. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you so much for
Also,
taking the time to join in this meeting.
yeah, welcome.
I'm excited to get to know about your experience. And so I just wanted to first start off. How was your experience in school as a student?
At what level? Is it at primary, high school,
Yes,
or second
primary
college?
school, primary school to high school.
My experience in primary school was all that I can say it was not bad. It was just a normal way of life in primary. It was, you know, our life in primary as it was in 1990s. That was 1993, 94, up to 2000. That was when everything was just localized, whereby we were even learning in school without shoes, poor clothing. Then the treatment that was in primary school from the teachers was not as it is now. I can say it was not child friendly as such. There was this a type of corporal punishment whereby learners, those who have made mistakes or those who have not maybe done assignment could be beaten. I cannot say even punished. I can say could be beaten as such early times. And the ages for the learners may be lower, or maybe from 9 years up to even 12 years. And then from grade, I say class 4 to 8, some were even married. So they were seen as some young adults. So they were treated in form of just corporal punishment as such. Even most of them left school. I can say that is how it was.
Most children left school at what ages?
Yeah, most of them at 17.
Mhm.
At 17, some was in primary. Even 14, 13.
Did you,
Yeah,
as
that
a
is
student,
grade class 7, 8, most of them. And then when they joined maybe Form 1, some could go up to Form 3, Form 2, Form 3. That is when they could see the life is very hard. Some of them dropped. Some wanted to marry. Some were, maybe they were trained, I say they were trained by the teachers who looked younger than them. Then they could disappear in the school. Maybe when they were punished because of maybe such minor mistakes in schools. That is it.
as a student, did you ever feel the need to leave school?
Not. I enjoyed
Oh,
learning in school,
oh, really?
but as some extent, maybe because of maybe challenges of the fees, and maybe when I look at my friend leaving, some could left the school and then they start business, they start booming, then there's some of them maybe started farming, and then they progressed, and then when you also encounter punishment like corporal or excessive punishment, and the school were not child friendly as such. It was just I can say the children were not motivated by maybe by internal motivation or by external environment.
Hmm.
So
Oh, wow. And so you keep on saying that the school was not child friendly. What do you mean by that?
uh, you know if you compare these days and those days, the school were not friendly in a manner that in case there was a mistake made by the maybe learner,
Mm.
a child could be even bad by even five teachers and using maybe bigger canes, or they could be even be beaten for maybe something like 20 minutes and mistreatments. And then there was also the issue of stigmatization in the schools, maybe among other learners. You know, if a learner could attend school, I hope you saw those young animals, chicas. Do you remember chicas? Or they
No.
are
Could
not.
you explain to me?
Yeah. So some of the learners could maybe when you find their legs, some of them were attacked by such chicas. Then they find the fingers have spread. They are not organized as should be because there were no shoes. Everything was exposed. The fingers were woolly, and then there is a poor clothing.
Mm.
Some of the clothes were tattered,
Mm.
and then and other things like maybe when a child was sent home, maybe because they have made mistakes or because maybe they are in poor condition, they have clothes in poor condition. The school was not friendly as compared to these days. You know, as we speak about school now, most of the schools are permanent buildings. But those days, they were made of maybe earthen, and then the floor was dusty with a number of animals which could attack them. So they was, you can see the sitting in class was not comfortable as such. That is it.
And despite all of this, um, all of the schools not being suitable for children, the corporal punishment, you still enjoyed school. Is that correct?
I still enjoy it. I enjoy it because I can say I was better in class. I was performing among the top three most of the time during maybe any normal exam, maybe end month or end time exams. And then the issue of maybe doing assignments in time, I was among the group who could who forward assignment faster. So I was not encountering such punishment most of the time. Yes.
And as a student, while you were participating at the highest level, I'm sure the teachers favored you in some sense. But were you ever the subject of abuse from teachers?
Not really.
Hmm. Did you have any teachers who inspired you, who were you would consider mentors?
Yes, I used to have. You know, at primary level, referring to myself, I can say in every class in primary, I was appointed as a class secretary. When I went to high school, I joined a new school. I was admitted to Nakuru High School and Kilgoris Secondary School. But because of fees, I went to a new school. So when I was appointed as the head boy, school head boy from Form 1, because we were starting the school from the same class. So as I move on, I was motivated by most of the teachers, especially a teacher who was teaching us English in high school and the school principal. How they were teaching, I say English and maybe CRE, I was motivated. And then I tuned myself and I promise I'll be a teacher in future. And then
So
he also
those
used to encourage. Sorry,
so those teachers inspired you to become a teacher?
they empowered me.
Why?
Even when we meet now, the one who taught me English and CRE is now at the Kupet for Bomet County, how we have seen, called Kimeto.
Mm.
He was my mentor. That is it.
What did he do to inspire you so much?
Sorry?
Why did he inspire you so much?
Because I was close to him. When I joined the school with good marks, I met with him and he kept on calling me, encouraging me, and assisting me where possible or where necessary.
Was that common for teachers back then?
Sorry?
Was it common for teachers to assist students personally?
Yeah, it also, I can say that one depend on the school. But
Mm,
in my school, I can say some of the learners, not all learners could be attended to by the teachers. Very few, in
mm,
fact. You know, if a teacher is teaching chemistry, he could be calling those who know teacher can score A because those who can perform above average. But those learners who are discovered to be maybe not organized or not really interested about performing highly could be left.
mm. So
That is it.
overall, you were inspired by one of your teachers to become a teacher.
Yes.
You did point out one thing that uh, going to school while in poverty,
Sir,
going to school in poverty, is that something that you had to deal with as a student?
going to school with somebody.
In poverty.
Yes, yes, yes.
Was that a struggle that most students experienced?
Most of them. Can say
Hmm.
75%.
75.
Yes.
And how did that affect your school experience?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, of course. How did living in poverty affect students in school?
It affects, I say, up to 75% because you know the, I started with the word stigmatization.
Hmm.
We are missing a lot of things as a learner. You even become demotivated by yourself.
Hmm.
Because if a teacher say use red pen, maybe you have a pencil, and all the other learners have red pens or blue pens. If if something is to be drawn, maybe a drawing lesson. If a learner is missing painting materials or crayons, that child become demoralized by herself or himself. If a learner has no full uniform, if a learner is sent home every day or every week to go for fees while others are in class, if a learner misses maybe tour, for example, or a trip, educational trip, which is supposed to be paid by the parents, that child become demoralized. So, like I say, buffeting affects the learning progress in a child because the same learner may miss supper at home, may miss may even shelter, beddings can be so poor, the room could be poorly ventilated, sharing with learners, borrowing the missing items. So that learner will not be comfortable in class unless that child is given all the learning materials or basic needs or secondary needs. If that child is missing, then learning is affected because that is what is called external environment. So that is how it is affecting.
Yeah, wow. Did the schools have the tools to help students who didn't have the means to buy, let's say, school uniform or pencils or notebooks?
That one depends on the school.
Mm,
If it is a private school, nothing of such help is there
mm,
unless the teachers may cooperate and then maybe contribute something small for the
mm,
poorly, the most affected learner. And then for the high school, it depends on the high school. As
mm,
solar schools are different. A day school could be similar to a primary school, but a national school, for example, or extra county schools could be having maybe sponsors. So it depends on the school, the ability of the
yeah,
school and the level of the school.
yeah.
That is it.
That's that's true. That's true. Um, and did you ever personally receive assistance?
I personally receive assistance.
You did as a student.
Well, when I became in high school, I secured scholarship from, I can say, a British couple from South
Mm,
Africa. They sponsored my education, but I got
wow.
along the way, not at the beginning of Form 1.
Ah, okay.
So I can say thanks for them
Yeah.
because they did that.
Yes. Yes. Um, and you would say that these scholarships immensely support students who would have otherwise not been able to continue with school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when you graduated high school, did you know for sure that you wanted to study to become a teacher?
Yes. The only course I applied was a teaching and
Oh,
maybe clinical,
yeah.
but
And how
my
was
brother was teaching.
mm, so you were dead set on teaching.
Well said on teaching.
Uh, is that because of your teachers? Because of your teachers who you admired?
My dad had called me a teacher when I was in Form 2. So
Wow.
when I was motivated by the teacher, and when I was in primary, most of my books I was rewarded. At such time, learners were rewarded when they are in portion one and portion two.
Yeah.
So I was not buying books, exercise.
Mm,
So, and then those who rewarded me with an exercise book, and in class 7 and 8, we were writing 120-page exercise book,
mm,
which was expensive to my family.
yes.
So when a teacher rewarded me, he could follow me, saying,
Mm,
"I've given you a reward, so make sure you are portion one."
mm,
And more talks from the same teachers. So I can say I was motivated by my dad and the teachers who
mm.
rewarded me.
Now, when you joined, how was the school? What were you taught as a student to become a teacher? when you were in higher education,
Mm-hmm.
what was the process to becoming a teacher?
What was the
The process.
process
Yes.
of becoming a teacher?
Yes.
Yeah, the process after after Form 4, I scored a B minus, and I applied for to be a teacher. That is Kenya Science. I applied as a diploma teacher, Kenya Science, and primary teacher, and clinical medicine. But I said the first one I will join. So when I got the admission letter for Togoto Teachers College, which I hope you know, it is in Nairobi, Kiambu,
Mm-hmm.
at Kikuyu, that is just near Dagoretti, I joined the college. And then I joined primary teaching because the cutoff for 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 university was 72 points,
Mm.
but I had 15.
Mm.
I had no money to maybe to go for a degree. So that is why I joined Togoto Teachers College, and then I continued. I also did diploma in that guidance and counseling at the same period. It was over the weekend, and then we also had a peer training within the college. And then after graduating, that was 2010, I also became a diploma in early childhood education.
Mm.
That was, I graduated 2012,
Oh, wow.
and the summer 2014 I enrolled for degree, but I did not finish because of fees. So
Mm.
from then, I began applying for TSC and then started looking for the job as a teacher. And that is why, and then 2018, I secured the chance and I began teaching.
Mm.